The Story of Kofi and Amina. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between the hills of West Africa, there were two neighboring kingdoms, the Ashanti and the Hausa. Although their lands were close, a deep river divided them, symbolizing the many differences in their customs, beliefs, and languages. The kings of both kingdoms had long declared that no one was allowed to cross the river to the other side. "Our people are like oil and water," the elders would say. "We can live beside one another, but we should never mix." In the Hausa kingdom lived a young woman named Amina. She was known for her beauty and kindness, her laughter like the song of birds in the morning, and her spirit as free as the wind that blew over the savannah. On the Ashanti side of the river lived Kofi, a skilled hunter and the son of a village chief. His courage was well known throughout the kingdom, but despite his bravery, he was also gentle, with a heart full of dreams. One fateful day, Kofi was hunting near the forbidden river when he heard a soft melody. Drawn to the sound, he followed it until he saw Amina sitting by the water's edge, singing as she wove a basket. Her voice enchanted him, and without thinking, he stepped into the water, crossing the river for the first time. Amina saw him approaching and stood, startled. Their eyes met, and in that moment, something unspoken passed between them, a connection deeper than words, stronger than the river that separated their worlds. They began to meet in secret by the river, speaking of their dreams and sharing stories of their people. Their love blossomed, but they knew the dangers they faced. The laws of both kingdoms forbade such a union, and the punishment for crossing the river was exile or even death. One night, Amina's father, the Hausa king, had a vision. In his dream, the spirits warned him that the two kingdoms would suffer great misfortune if the ancient rule of separation was broken. He awoke with fear in his heart, and in the morning he sent his warriors to patrol the river. On the Ashanti side, Kofi's father had also grown suspicious. He had noticed Kofi's long absences and the distant look in his eyes. He too placed guards along the riverbank. Despite the danger, Kofi and Amina could not stay apart. One evening, they decided to meet for what would be their last time, knowing that their love could never be accepted. As they embraced on the river's edge, the guards from both kingdoms appeared, surrounding them. "Step away from her, Kofi," his father commanded. "She is of the Hausa, and you bring shame to our family." "Amina, you betray your people by being with an Ashanti," her father cried. But Kofi and Amina held each other's hands tightly. "Our love is not a crime," Amina said softly. "It is the river that divides us, not our hearts." The kings, however, were unmoved. They raised their hands to give the order to punish the lovers. But just as the command was about to be spoken, the earth beneath them began to tremble. The river roared and swelled, rising higher and higher until it overflowed its banks, flooding the land. In the chaos, Kofi and Amina were swept into the waters, still holding hands. The river carried them away, and despite the efforts of the guards and villagers, they were never seen again. The flood eventually receded, but the river remained wider and deeper than before. The kings, struck with grief and guilt, declared that no more lives would be lost because of an old grudge. They tore down the borders between the kingdoms, and the people were allowed to travel freely across the river. Legend says that on quiet nights, when the moon is full and the water is still, you can see Kofi and Amina walking hand in hand along the riverbank, their love eternal, untouchable by the laws of men. Their story became a lesson for generations. Love is a force more powerful than any barrier, more enduring than any rule, and so the people of the Ashanti and the Hausa lived in peace, united by the love of two brave souls who defied the river that once divided them. The end. Please subscribe to my channel and like for more content. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel.